badly. "How dare you show up here? You don't belong here," Kira spat. Ali's death 2 weeks earlier had devastated us at Safe Space. His closest friends, like Kira and Angie, were beside themselves with grief. Co-workers had been breaking down in tears or looking shell-shocked as they went about their tasks. And how did I feel? Well, I felt assaulted whenever the sun shone. How dare the world look bright when our hearts were buried in darkness? I was desperate to avoid a repeat of the hostilities that had overtaken Kiki's funeral 8 months before. At a service planned by her birth mother, our street family had been horrified to discover Kiki in an open casket, dressed as a man. Knowing all too well the sufferings Kiki had endured to honor her inner truth, I found it grotesque to see her identity erased in death. One of Kiki's social workers calmly asked why a man's suit had been placed upon the body of the fiercely proud young transgender woman. Kiki's mother erupted in rage, shouting that Satan had made her son believe she was a woman. I had only just met Ali's mother. She and her daughter had arrived half an hour before the service, and I invited them to wait in my office next door. The woman standing before me seemed smaller and less formidable than I'd expected, after hearing grueling stories of how she abused Ali as a child. Peering into her eyes as we sat together quietly, I could not perceive villainy, only hurt, regret, shame. She seemed nervous, tentative. She clearly felt out of place in this gay white man's office, at this strange organization where the child she had abandoned had been fed and cared for and loved. She must have noticed the photo I'd hung over my desk, an impromptu grief-stricken shrine, of Ali in an ill-fitting wig, a playful, knowing look in her eyes, tongue curling suggestively out of the side of her mouth. Ali's mother did not recoil from the evidence that the part of her child she didn't understand was so openly celebrated here. Seeing her willingness to be with us despite her pain and discomfort, I reluctantly admired her courage. Still, her very existence had been a revelation to us. For years, Ali had told us that both his parents were dead. 2 weeks earlier, when my co-workers Kristen and Yola had gone to Harlem Hospital to identify Ali's body, they were prepared to see Ali's corpse laid under a sheet on a gurney. They were shocked to walk into the room and find his mother standing next to it, alive. It was the only lie I ever knew Ali to tell. Many of the young people at Safe Space tried to conceal their sex work and drug use, among other things, ashamed of the tools they needed to survive life on the streets. But not Ali. Ali was remarkably free of shame. The only secret he was too ashamed to confess was having a parent who left her child to suffer alone in the streets. This book is about homeless queer youths. It's about the terrible harm done to them when our eyes and policies are blinded to their human value. It's about the love and protection that should be every child's birthright. There are hundreds of thousands of unhoused LGBTQ teenagers in this country, making up about 40% of all homeless young people. This crisis is a national and global epidemic. It transcends boundaries of country, race, and class, and I have come to see it as one of the most pervasive expressions of homophobia and transphobia in our lifetime. Overwhelmingly, parental rejection is why an LGBTQ child is far more likely to experience homelessness than a straight one. It is a brutal thing for a teen to be deprived of the love and support of their parents. Not only does it jeopardize their access to food, housing, education, and medical care, it undermines a child's ability to believe themselves worthy of love. Our need for family is not easily extinguished. Yet too often the kids in our care have been met with eyes and hearts shut tight. Religious leaders frequently condemn LGBTQ people. Politicians often scapegoat us as embodiments of societal evil. Both messages foster environments where parents are more likely to view their queer children as shameful and end up rejecting them. One might hope that the LGBTQ rights movement would have a long history of responding to the crisis.